Maintaining correct storage temperatures is key to ensuring food safety. Any disruption in the cold chain, keeping food refrigerated, or hot chain, keeping food hot, can adversely affect the wholesomeness of food and alter its sensory qualities. The term cold chain refers to the maintenance of refrigerated, deep frozen and frozen products at a constant storage temperature throughout their entire life cycle, from production to sale, including transport. Refrigerated foods must be kept at a maximum temperature of 4 degrees Celsius, while deep frozen and frozen foods must be kept at minus 18 degrees. The term hot chain, on the other hand, refers to keeping foods intended for hot consumption at a minimum temperature of 65 degrees from preparation through to serving. Compliance with the cold chain is particularly important for products of animal origin, such as meat, milk, eggs, fish, and their derivatives. Storing refrigerated products between 0 and 4 degrees Celsius prevents the proliferation of bacteria, which instead thrive at higher temperatures. This is why it is essential to make sure that no temperature abuse occurs at any time in the supply chain or during food preparation. The food transformation process begins with the receipt of raw materials and continues through the stages of preparation, cooling, preservation, and finally display for sale or serving to the end consumer. Let's go through the best practices to follow at each of these stages. Receipt and storage of raw materials. Raw materials must be inspected upon arrival. They must be delivered at the temperature indicated on the label. The packaging must be in perfect condition. The expiration date must not have been exceeded, and the food's remaining shelf life must be compatible with its intended use. To assess suitability, products must be inspected both visually and by smell. For products requiring controlled temperatures, a thermometer must also be used to check compliance. Once the initial inspection has been passed, raw materials must be stored at the prescribed temperatures and used giving priority to the products with the closest expiry date. Any products that have exceeded the expiry date must be discarded or returned to the supplier, after separating them from the other products and marking them as unsuitable, for example using signs or tags. Cold processing. The preparation of foods that are not subject to any further cooking is referred to as cold processing. This includes, for example, portioning and assembling ingredients for rice salads or Russian salads. Since these foods will not undergo heat treatment, which could eliminate any microbial contamination, it is vital to maintain the highest hygiene standards throughout these stages. Raw materials must be of premium quality, properly stored and cleaned before use. Special care must be taken when preparing foods with raw eggs. Pathogens such as Salmonella may be present on the eggshell and contaminate other foods and work surfaces through direct contact or handling. To avoid this risk, it is recommended to replace fresh eggs with pasteurized eggs. Ideally, cold foods should be handled and prepared under controlled temperatures, making sure that they are not kept at temperatures above 10 degrees Celsius for more than 2 hours. Hot processing. In food preparation, processes that involve both cooking and storage, the cooling phase demands particular care. Any pathogens that survive the cooking process or those introduced through subsequent contamination can multiply rapidly at temperatures between 15 and 40 degrees. Within this range, microbial growth may reach levels capable of causing foodborne infections. This can be avoided by maintaining strict hygiene standards during handling and by minimizing the time foods are kept in this temperature range after cooking. The transition between cooking and refrigeration, or between cooking and serving, must be as short as possible. Foods must be cooled rapidly, using, for example, a blast chiller. If a blast chiller is not available, the food should be prepared in small portions to reduce cooling times. Sauces or gravies should be stirred frequently to help cool them more quickly. Where possible, foods should be placed in cold storage or cooled by immersing the containers in cold water.